Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back into the Regular Guy DFS show. I am David, and you are in the dungeon, aka my studio basement that my wife allows me to have. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining me today. Before I get started, I want to say I apologize for not being able to put out a video yesterday. I had some medical stuff I had to deal with. I was in no shape to play DFS yesterday or to put out any video. I mean, look, I'm mainly talking to guys here. You get to a certain age, guys, things like kidney stones become very real. And my God, I had heard how awful they were, and I can confirm that now. So anything you can do to avoid things like that. I don't know if there is. Sometimes you just get to a certain age and they happen. But yeah, knocked me down yesterday. I wasn't able to put out the pick six. I wasn't able to play any daily fantasy, but feel much better today. We're back at it and we're going to give this a shot. Our pick six didn't go all that great 2 nights ago. So hopefully we're going to do a little bit better today. This is a tough slate. I wait as long as I can. I like to try and wait for the 12:30 Central Time injury report from the NBA so I can have as much information as I can when I make these videos. Excuse me. Um, but we still have a lot of unknowns yet today on today's 7-game slate. We're still waiting on word for guys like Capella, Gallinari. We found out about Jaylen Brown is now out. Walker confirmed out. Robert Williams also out for Boston. So we got a little clarification there, but we don't know about Kevin Durant yet, or if he plays, if there's going to be a minute. So it's kind of tough to put together a solid pick six right now. But I do have some guys that I think we can play tonight with some confidence, regardless of how this other injury information breaks down. Now, pick six today does not include Kyrie Irving. If Kevin Durant would get ruled out, obviously he would be, a guy that you might want to look to. But let's get to this one. And we're going to start out with an obvious one that you probably don't need me to tell you about, but I'm going to keep jamming the guy in when his floor is 50 points. Russell Westbrook, enough said. The way he's been playing, again, a great matchup against Oklahoma City. Not that I think it matters that much with Russell Westbrook with the matchups. Just play him. His floor is like 50 points. He had an off game last game, and I think he scored 10 or 12 points. He scored 14 points and still had 60 fantasy points, because he gets 20 rebounds, 10 assists, just a triple-double waiting to happen. It's just a matter of, with him, really, it's just a matter of how big are the triple-double numbers going to be. So we're just going to put him in when he's playing. He's just Beal or no Beal on the floor. I'm just playing Russell Westbrook. Now, another guy that I think is almost a lock today. He's going to be very popular, but the way he's been playing with no Kawhi Leonard, Paul George has just been great. He's been getting all the usage. The matchup is a little concerning to me, but I'm going to go ahead and play him. Houston gets blown out pretty much every game. Let's just face, they've basically quit. It doesn't appear like they're even trying to win. But I think if this game is a blowout, the big reason it's going to be a blowout is because Paul George is going off again. So I'm willing to take the risk. I don't usually play daily fantasy. It's one thing for you guys that are new to this, or you're just getting started trying to figure a few things out. I don't look at blowout potential that often because I've had games earlier this year. I remember a Sixers game where people were avoiding Embiid because it was going to be a huge blowout. They didn't even know if he'd play the second half. They were like a 13.5-point favorite. I don't remember who they were playing. And they lost by 15. So you just never really know in the NBA on a night-to-night basis. So I don't usually make my lineups, predicting blowouts. I think you're going to lose money doing that. But when you have a team like Houston that just doesn't even seem that interested in playing most nights, it's a real possibility. But we're going to go ahead and put Paul George in because his ceiling is very high. again, the good matchup, and I think he's going to have another fabulous night. He'll probably pay off his price point, even if it is a blowout and he doesn't play in the fourth quarter. So I think he's almost a must-play tonight. Now, we did get news. I was waiting and waiting to put this video out, and we did finally get some news that we were waiting for out of Boston. Jaylen Brown, Kimball Walker, and Robert Williams have now been ruled out. I expected Walker. Walker hasn't played on a back-to-back yet this year, I don't think. So, obviously, with those guys being out, the usage rate is going to go way up, and it's going to be a tough build, though, guys. So I'm going to put him in right now. I'm going to put Jason Tatum in. He's certainly, there's every reason to believe he's going to have a big night tonight playing against Brooklyn. They don't play much defense, and his usage level is just going to be really, really high. But if you notice, and again, I'm building these lineups on DraftKings, guys. That's where I play. I play on DraftKings. I don't have any knowledge of FanDuel pricing or Yahoo pricing or anything like that. DraftKings has been really good to me, so I just play on DraftKings. But if you notice, when I put these videos out, I want to give you guys, plays that I think are going to work. But they also have to be realistic within a lineup. And if you notice now, our salary has already gone down to just below 4,000, and we only have 3 players in. We have some decent value today that we're going to get to here in a minute, but I don't see a lot of forward value today. So we can jam these guys in, and I'll get on with the pick 6 here. So we're going to obviously need some guys that are not as expensive. I love this play at center today. Obviously, if you wanted to go with Nikola Jokic as part of your lineup, that would be fine. He's, kind of like a guy like Westbrook. He didn't have a very good game last game, but more than likely he's going to stuff the stat sheet. But I'm going to give you a guy that I haven't played much this year, but I'm going to go with him tonight. Nurkic has been playing more and more minutes. When he came back from his injury, he was on a pretty strict minutes limit. They're still going to split some minutes with him and Zubac, but I don't think Nurkic is going to be very high owned tonight. And as you know, that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to find guys that are productive but are different because we're playing GPP tournaments. So try to find some guys that maybe aren't going to have as high of ownership. I'm okay with Nurkic because recently he was stuck in that 24 to 22, 26 minutes. See, he got 29 minutes last time, and he's about a fantasy point per minute player. So he's very productive generally when he's on the floor, and if we're going to get up around 29, 30 minutes tonight out of Yusuf Nurkic, he's too cheap. At 5,200, he can easily pay off that price point. So Nurkic is going to be my center in the pick 6. The next guy we're going to put in is what we call chalk value. He's going to be incredibly high owned tonight, and I'm going to give you an alternative to him here in a minute. But at his price tag with the usage, and he's usually very productive when Trae Young is not playing tonight, so I would imagine they have in the past. I don't know why they wouldn't. They're going to start Brandon Goodwin. And when he gets the minutes, look back here, 37 minutes, 32 fantasy points, 16 minutes, 17 fantasy points. He's generally been productive, so he's going to be incredibly popular tonight because there isn't a ton of value on this slate right now, and most of the value that I see is at guard at this point. But again, it's 1 o'clock Central Time where I'm at here in Nebraska. We're going to get news throughout the day. But with where we have our lineup builder here, 3,700 again is our salary. We need some cheap guys, and he's probably the best value play on the slate today. I'm going to give you an alternative to him in a minute. But let's finish out the pick 6. We just got the news about Jaylen Brown. So I'm assuming that Peyton Pritchard is going to get the start instead of Kimball Walker or Jaylen Brown. I imagine he'll get the start. He's been pretty productive when he gets the minutes. He should get pretty big minutes tonight. It's a good matchup against Brooklyn. So we're going to put Peyton Pritchard in as our last member of today's pick six. But if you notice, we still have two spots to fill, and we've only got $3,700 a piece. And I do not really like the forward value. It's one thing to be able to jam studs in and then, find the cheap guys to go in, but you're not going to win tournaments. You're not going to cash in tournaments if those guys are horrible. If they don't produce some points. The only guy I've been able to come up with here in that range is a guy who's just back from injury. I'm not going to be able to scroll to him. Never. I never do. All right, come on. Let's just do the typing. Hollis Jefferson the last 5 games for Portland. He started one of the games, but his last two, 24 and 22 minutes, 14, 20 fantasy points. I mean, it's viable if he's going to get those kind of minutes, but again, we're trying to win or cash in these GPPs, and that's just not a guy that I think is going to put us over the top. So it's one thing to put value in. It's another thing to put value in that's going to matter. And I just don't see right now a ton of value at the forward position. That could change throughout today. So this is going to be our official pick six. Westbrook, George, Tatum, Nurkic, Goodwin, and Pritchard. Again, that's dependent on Pritchard starting. But as you can tell, I'm a little leery about this just because I don't like the value at forward. So an alternative that I'm strongly considering is we also got word that Kent Bazemore is not going to play for Golden State today. So that means Kelly Oubre is going to move back in to the starting lineup. And his last game, small forward, power forward, yeah, either one's fine. His last game, he did finally, I think, get almost 30 minutes. Yeah, actually more than that, 37 minutes, 39 fantasy points. So with no Bazemore, they had been starting Bazemore, Oubre coming off the bench. If Bazemore not going to play, I assume Oubre goes into the starting lineup, probably plays his normal minutes. And he can get you, 40 to 45 fantasy points, which is a pretty good consolation if we can't fit Jason Tatum in. Or if we want to leave Tatum in and maybe take George out, because George is probably going to be pretty popular tonight. Maybe look at a guy like Bogdanovich from Atlanta. He's too expensive, but if Capella and Gallinari get ruled out again, John Collins hasn't been all that productive since he's come back. So if those guys are ruled out again, Bogdan's usage is just going to go up. Again, it's hard. Some people tell you I can't pay that kind of money for Bogdanovich. I'll pay it, especially if nobody else is going to play him. And he has a good night. That's the whole point. We've got a guy then that isn't very popular as far as ownership percentage, and he has a chance to go off. So the other alternative I want to give you before I get out of here on this pick six, I forgot to mention. I keep forgetting to mention this when the videos start. If you would please hit the like button, if you would please hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell, and make sure you turn the notifications on so you get notified every time we do put out a new video. We're going to be trying to put these out at more frequency, but we're definitely going to keep putting out the daily videos. So again, if you wouldn't mind doing that. I know I'm all over the place here. Instead of Goodwin, who I told you is going to be incredibly high owned tonight. It's risky, but I am willing to take a chance tonight. In fact, I'm going to show you tomorrow in my lineups. I can see going to Lou Williams. Now, this is a crapshoot, okay? But with no Trae Young, Goodwin should get the start, but Lou Williams is probably going to get more minutes now off the bench. And if you know anything about Lou Williams, he's boom or bust. And I think it was last game he tied for the leading scorer. No, 2 games ago against Orlando. 22 points in 24 minutes, 27 fantasy points. This is a problem here with Lou Williams is the minutes. But I think with Trae Young gone, I think they're going to do a little more of a split with the minutes between Williams and Goodwin because he's been very good at times when he's on the floor. It's risky, but I like the upside of Lou Williams if he would go off and have a good game, and he is not going to be high owned. Okay, I mean, people are just going to plug in Brandon Goodwin. So he is another alternative in this pick six. If we can't jam Tatum in, or we decide to go a different way, maybe it's shooting guard, something like that, then consider Lou Williams. He's a risk, but he can pay off his price point. He won't be very high owned. One other guy I'm going to throw at you in the pick six that I'm considering, PJ Washington was terrible in his last game. And I don't exactly know what the hell they're doing. It's very frustrating. There was last game, PJ Washington, he didn't start. He comes in off the bench. Vernon Carey had started 2 games ago. This game right here against New York, Carey started, literally played 3 minutes. Washington comes in off the bench and pretty much plays the rest of the minutes. Vernon Carey never got back in the game. And he goes off for 33. Well, last night they start Carey again, and then Washington comes in, but then he only plays 13 minutes and he has 8 fantasy points. The point I'm trying to get to here is people are going to be way off of PJ Washington tonight, okay? They're not going to want to go back to him, and you can't blame them. But I am willing to take a chance that was just some kind of a one-off. Maybe they felt bad because they started Carey and only gave him 3 minutes. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. But anyway, I'm willing to give PJ Washington another chance. And if he could have a big game, he's going to have very low ownership, guys. So a lot of different ways to consider things going tonight. Throughout the day, let's just watch for value. This lineup, the one with Jason Tatum in it, is going to look a lot more appealing if we could get some decent forward value. I just don't think there's enough forward value right now to try and jam 3 studs, Westbrook, George, and Tatum in. His price is up to $10,000, and have a lineup that can take something down, because I don't think we've got enough forward value. But that can obviously change throughout the day. So this is the official pick six: Westbrook, George, Oubre, Nurkic, Williams, Pritchard. The official pick six was Brandon Goodwin. Okay, let's put him back in there just so we're clear. That's the official pick six, but consider guys like Washington if you feel like taking a chance. Consider guys like Lou Williams. They can bust, but if they don't bust, the upside is very high and could get you the advantage that you need in some of these GPP tournaments playing guys that aren't going to be as popular. So I appreciate you guys tuning into the Pick Six. I try to keep this as short as possible. Hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions throughout the day. I'm at SandoDFS, and that's down in the little comment section down here at the bottom of the video. And again, if you wouldn't mind, it would mean a lot if you would hit the like button and hit the subscribe button before you get out of here. And hopefully we'll have a winning night tonight, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, hopefully talking about a couple of takedowns. Thanks for watching.